Hi. So, welcome back to my channel once again. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about addressing the common questions that people ask about studying in America. I get asked a lot of questions about admission process, scholarship, funding, even living life in America or studying and working. So, some of the common questions that people ask regularly or people you may have on your mind about studying in America are what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm sure that this video will help you to make some clarifications and then get you better prepared for your application process and your planned study in America if you desire to study in America. So, one of the most common questions that I get asked often is what are the required documents for application for masters, for PhD, or for bachelor's program in America. Okay, this is one of the most common program and it's under question and it's understandable. People want to know what are the requirements, what are the documents they need to submit. They want to be sure they have it. If they don't have it, they want so that they can work towards getting them. So uh, there are requirements that are often general to almost all schools in America. They are general, what I would call general requirements. You may see from school to school that there may be little differences here and there about their requirements, but there are the general requirements that almost all programs, almost all schools will require from candidates that are applying to study for their program, especially at the master's and PhD level. So, what are these documents that are often required? The number one document that will definitely, certainly be required from you is your transcript of academic record. Transcript of academic records. Okay, it is almost a law or a regulation in America that, especially if you have had a university degree before, a university study before, and you want to go for graduate study, master's, PhD, you have to submit the transcript of your academic record of all universities you have attended. All. So let me give an instance now. Let's say you already have a bachelor's degree from your country, you also have a master's degree from your country, but you are planning to apply for another master's degree in United States of America. The school and the program you are applying to in US will ask you to submit the transcript of both your bachelor's program and the first master's degree you have done in your country, even though you are still applying for another master's program. So they want to see, they have to want to have the record of all your university academic program, especially when you're applying for a graduate program like master's or PhD. So you need to get your transcript of academic record from your universities. So, but some schools, a little differences in the way they want you to present it during the application process may occur from school to school. Some schools will say during the application process they don't need the official transcript yet. You can just give them an unofficial copy, or what some schools we call student copy. So in that case, you can apply for a student copy, unofficial copy from your school, your previous university, and have a copy of it with you. You can scan it and upload it, which is what most of those universities that are not insisting on official copy of the transcript during the application process will require. They will usually just require you to scan it and upload it alongside. But there are some schools that will insist that they want only the official copy. So in that case, you have to initiate the process of your previous school where you did your bachelor's or other educational qualification to send that transcript of academic record, the official one, to send it to the school to which you are applying. Almost all schools will not make decision on your application if they don't find get your transcript, either the official one or the unofficial one, depending on what the school require from you. So your transcript of academic record is very important because it's a guideline that you need to submit for nearly all graduate study. And secondly, the admission committee or the selection committee that will decide who are the students that will be admitted, or if a scholarship is involved, who are the students that will be offered scholarship on that program. They need to see your record of academic performance to make their decision. There are several students like you that are applying all over the world, and they want to select the best set of students. And one of the things they will look at is your academic record. Your academic records will give them an insight through your transcripts now, will give them an insight into your academic background, the courses you have taken, the depth of those courses. How relevant are they to the program you are applying to, and how well did you perform on those programs? So that gives help them to evaluate your academic standing and put it side by side with other candidates to be able to decide who will be the best candidates to admit to the program or to offer scholarship. So transcript of academic record is one document you must have, either in the official form or in unofficial form. The second very important document that they will usually require is your statement of purpose, SOP. Some universities call it motivation letter. Some other call it statement of personal statement. Okay, whichever name they call it, what that simply means is that they want you to write something like a 1 page or 1.5 page, at most 1.5 page information about why you are interested in the program, why you are applying, why you think you are the right candidate for that program, why you think you should be selected above other candidates, why, how that program will enhance your career in the future, or what you will also contribute to the program. So those are the issues that you need to address in that document. Your statement of purpose, or it may be called personal statement or letter of motivation, whatever the case, is usually required by nearly every school in America. And the third set of requirement or document are letters of recommendation. Most universities in America will ask you to submit 3 letters of recommendations. More often than not now, they will send a link to the people you recommend in their email to fill the recommendation, and probably also upload a scanned copy of recommendation letter. Okay, so your recommendation letters are usually some of those documents that you will need to submit. Most of the time, they will require 3 recommendations from 3 recommenders. Okay, so who are the best people to give you recommendation letters? I always suggest that they should be your former professors that have taught you, that can speak about your academic ability, your performances, that can compare with the other students and talk about your strength in the application process, because they look into your recommendation letter to also decide who should we admit to this program, or who should we offer this kind of scholarship to. So your recommendation letter is also one of those documents. And another document that you will usually have to submit is your CV. Okay, your CV in this case, because you are using it for admission process, it should highlight your relevant educational qualification to that program. Okay, it should put it ahead of other factors in the CV. Your CV that you are using for admission process will be different for a CV that you are using to apply for job. Okay, so you need to highlight your educational qualification, and then if you have job experiences that are quite relevant to the program you are applying to, you can also highlight them in your CV. So your CV is also one document that will usually be required in your application process. Okay, so that is that. Another question that gets often asked is that if I do not have a first class or a second class upper division, will I be admitted to a university in America? Yes and yes. And I will explain a little further. Okay, it is not only first class graduates that are admitted or are given scholarship in America to study for masters or PhD. I know several people that graduated with second class upper division and even second class lower division that have gotten into schools in America, that got scholarship or graduate assistantship or teaching assistantship, and have also proceeded on to their PhD. Okay, so if you have a second class lower division in your bachelor's program, your undergraduate studies, you still stand a chance in getting admission into universities in America. It does not stop you from getting admission. In fact, you can still get funding depending on the school, the program you're applying to, and how competitive it is. Okay, if you had a top class or a pass in your undergraduate program, can you get admission? That is a little challenging, because your academic record is also part of what they are looking at. And usually, even if you are not the very best person in your class, they want you to have something close to an average performance in most cases. So if someone has a third class or an ordinary pass, it may be a little challenging getting admitted. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it may be a little more challenging than having a better qualification. For countries that don't use first class, second class, or pass, second class, lower, third class, or pass categorization, they probably will look at the percentage of what you have, or they will look at your CGPA and translate it to the corresponding of their own CGPA, and look at where it falls on their scale. Usually, they will expect you to most schools will expect you to be at least average and upward, okay. So that is that on whether you can get admission if you have a first class, a second class, or a third class position in your program, okay. So that's that. Next question I'm going to be addressing, which is often asked, is that are there fully funded universities and program in America? This answer is straightforward. I don't know of any fully funded university, fully funded program in America. That fully funded means that every student they are admitting, you are going to give them full funding. They are not going to pay tuition. They are not. No, that is more common in Europe. You have many countries in Europe that you don't have to pay tuition as student. The government has taken care of it. That is not the case in America. In America, in most universities, you are required to pay tuition. You are required to pay tuition. What can give you a break from the tuition is that maybe if you get a scholarship, or you get a assistantship position, teaching assistantship, research assistantship. In that case, the university will cancel your tuition, and so you will not need to pay because you are being given a position of a graduate teaching assistant or research assistant. So, but as a whole, that an entire university is fully funded, that you can just get admission, you don't have to pay. I am not aware of any university or any institution in America that does that. Okay, so another question that is also often asked is that, do I need GRE, TOEFL, or IELTS to get admission scholarship in America? Okay, the GRE is Graduate Record Examination, and it's common among many universities in America as one of the entrance requirements for a graduate study. A graduate study in the sense of master's or bachelor's degree. Okay, over the years, many American universities and many graduate programs in America ask students to submit a GRE score. Okay, but in recent time, many universities are beginning to think GRE score is actually not giving them a correct evaluation or insight into the ability of students, and they are beginning to drop GRE. So there are schools that don't require GRE. There are programs that don't require GRE. All you need to do is that go on the website of university, check the programs you are interested in, and look through their admission requirement, if GRE is one of them or if GRE is not one of them. Okay, so there are a number of schools now that are beginning to jettison GRE because they no longer believe in it. Currently, because we are in the middle of a pandemic, the coronavirus, many schools also now are waiving GRE requirements because they think the demand of the pandemic is going to make it difficult for students to prepare and to sit for GRE. So there are many schools that used to require GRE are for the first time waiving GRE and also TOEFL or IELTS. So if you are someone that want to apply but GRE has been the challenge, or IELTS or TOEFL score has been the challenge, this is your big opportunity to take advantage of that, because many of these schools are waiving it because of the current situation of the pandemic. Okay, the same thing is applicable to TOEFL. Many TOEFL and IELTS, many universities in America want to know that you are proficient enough in the use of English language to be able to study in their university. So they ask you to submit a score of TOEFL or IELTS. But there are schools that also will waive it for some category of students, especially if you are coming from an English-speaking country, or you have done your previous education, university education in English language. There are universities that are willing to waive that. Okay, they will just ask you to provide the proof that you did your previous education in English language, and a letter from your university can suffice in that case, can take care of that. So, and also because of pandemic too, many universities are now that normally require you to submit TOEFL score or IELTS score are also waiving it for candidates to make life easier because they know it's difficult preparing for exam, writing exam in the middle of a pandemic. So that is a big window of opportunity also for students to catch in on that. So these are some of the of questions that people ask about studying in America. I still have more questions on studying in America, but because of the length of the video, I will keep it short here. Then I'm going to do a second part for this video and answer more questions on studying in America. I hope this explanation and the answer to this question are going to help you in your admission or scholarship application process. And I wish you the best. Thank you once again for watching this video and see you again soon.